I'm Georgie Ainsley, and this Inside Tack show marks the start of the official naming ceremony of the INEOS Team UK race boat for the 36th America's Cup. Today, we really do reveal an extraordinary thing, a boat which can fly. A boat which will aim to spend 99% of its race time with just 1% of its construction in the water. It is truly groundbreaking in its design, yet its mission is to win the world's oldest sporting trophy. It's taken absolutely everything to get it from the finest design minds onto paper and from the most diligent and obsessive shore team out of the shed and onto the water, but that day has finally come. So let's meet the people who have made this AC76 race boat a reality. Our four-time Olympic gold medalist, Sir Ben Ainsley. Our team owner, Sir Jim Ratcliffe. CEO Grant Simmer, and our highly intelligent head of design, Nick Holroyd. Firstly, Jim, why did you not get the memo about red trousers?
Take it quite seriously.
Apparently the rest of them were. Ben, she's going to get lowered into the water today. How much are you and the sailing team looking forward to sailing on RB1?
Yeah, well, massively, but I think the first thing to say, we talk about, we're sat here, but there's a whole team downstairs that have done a massive amount of effort into getting this boat on the water. There's sort of 90,000 design hours, I think, 50,000 construction hours. And for the last 18 months of design, development, engineering, and then building. And the last 6 months in particular, the team has been working incredibly hard around the clock to get this boat on the water, and there are some guys out there who literally have not had a day off for 6 months. And one of our leading engineers even managed to forget his 10-year-old son's birthday the other day, which is not that amusing really, but I think it just goes to show the amount of effort that's been put into this boat. So of course, yeah, we're very grateful for that and desperate to get out on the water and put this boat through its paces.
There is a guest spot on the back, so Jim, how much are you looking forward to sailing with?
I'm coming down with my doctor. I can't wait to get on the back, but as long as I'm properly strapped in, my water wings on.
You'll love the sense of adventure. It has taken all sorts of blood, sweat and tears, though, to get to this day. Let's take a look back at where we were 2 years ago, right up to the present day.
The New Zealanders pedaling into the history books. For Britain, the quest is over.
We're disappointed, we're bitterly disappointed. We'll be down stronger next time.
2 years on, and the British team, led by Sir Ben Ainsley, has a new owner and a new boat. But the challenge remains, to win the America's Cup for Britain.
Came a long way in the last cycle. We achieved a huge amount. Okay, we didn't get the result that we wanted, but we really set ourselves up.
The quest to win the America's Cup has required a fresh approach, a new strategy, and serious funding to focus entirely on the mission in hand.
We've won rugby, we've run cricket, we've run football, not been able to win the cup for 170 years, so it's a pretty substantial challenge.
At the Team HQ in Portsmouth, INEOS Team UK are creating the world's most advanced racing boat to challenge for the world's oldest sporting trophy. To win, design and sailing talent, man and machine, will have to perform in perfect harmony when it matters most.
That's the nice thing about the Cup, the fact that you're always developing the technology, and then in the end it comes down to being a sporting contest.
Design is at the forefront of this campaign. The race boat that contests the Cup will be unlike anything ever seen on the water before.
It is the first 14 mile of the site. It's really ambitious in that it sets out a completely new type of boat.
To test the design concept, a smaller test boat, T5, was used to provide the team with useful intel before building the real deal.
I think we were all impressed with T5 how well it performed from day one, really, given it's quite a quick turnaround.
Just as any boat designed for this America's Cup Challenge will have to be finely tuned, so too will the sailors. They have to be the best they physically can. After 18 months of hard work and commitment, with over 90,000 design and 50,000 construction hours completed, the most complex America's Cup yacht ever created is out of the shed and ready to sail. The countdown to the America's Cup has begun.
That looked like hard work in the gym, didn't it, Jess? Grant, from your perspective, how big a push has it been to get RB1 ready for today?
Well, this cup, because it's in a new class of boat, a completely new concept, it requires a lot of risk. So we've really pushed it a lot with the design of the boat, and therefore pulling that complex engineering together has been quite difficult. So it's taken longer than we thought to finish the boat. There's no hiding from that, but we're also made it very challenging in terms of the construction.
You've won the Cup 4 times before. You've contested 11 Cups. How is this one different from all the others?
Well, maybe it's the last one.
It's the Legacy Cup.
No, what it is because it's a completely new class of boat, it's kind of like when we built that huge catamaran all those years ago. We really are pushing the technology as we know it in the sport. And I really like that part, and luckily we've got Nick here alongside to worry even more than me about some of the design aspects.
Nick, did you ever think you'd be designing an America's Cup boat that looks like this one?
Well, we didn't get a lot of choice about what it looked like. I mean, that's given to us in the classroom. But as Ben says, 90,000 man-hours of design time is a huge effort. Being given the privilege of managing that much resource to put into something like this is a real honour. So yeah, and neat boat, not having a benchmark, not having a conservative option gives you a lot of freedom in the design.
So what do you do? Do you effectively start with a completely blank piece of paper with all those designers that you have under you and have to work out where the beginnings are? I mean, you have a class rule. Just explain that a little bit to people who don't know about it and what sort of wiggle room there is around that.
So the class rule defines length, beam, size of the foils, weights, etc., etc. The process, yes, start with a blank sheet of paper. We had a boat, we called boat 0. It was just putting on paper what we thought one of these things should look like. And then from there on, we treated it almost like a software development program. We have a boat 0.3, a boat 0.7, boat 1. And each of those we kind of add more information and colour in between the lines and increase our understanding.
How many drawings have you produced, do you think, to get to this place?
Me, not very many at all.
But your team a great deal.
I've checked hundreds of thousands of pages.
How big a collaboration as well has it been with the sailors, and how much of a collaboration is it between designers and sailors to get a boat like this?
Absolutely essential. The work we did with T5, there's a language that forms around the way we talk about the behaviour of the boat, the way the boat handles in the water. And so T5 was a really good opportunity for us to develop that kind of shared language and shared kind of understanding. Again, coming across to the simulator and the detail engineering work we do there, we need to produce a boat that does what the sailors need to do to win.
So if this boat has never been designed before, let alone sailed before, how do you prepare then to sail them? What do you do to make sure that sail goes well?
Well, we had T5 as we've seen, and also you have a simulator which is incredibly accurate. And it's a motion platform, and we get all the guys involved with the performance of the boat really, so the helmsman, the mainsail trimmer, the pilot, and other guys involved with sailing this boat. And so we put it for its paces and try and understand the performance really more for, as Nick said, working with the design team, what we think is going to make the boat faster. And then ultimately we've got to get out in RB1 and put it through its paces and understand the dynamics of this boat, which is going to be fascinating.
So what's the schedule now? What does it look like now up until Christmas? Are you allowed to say? Are the teams listening? Other teams will be listening.
It might be. Yeah, well, we're always going to get the boat, take it through some structural testing, and then get the boat sailing. And we have quite a tight time frame of training through this European winter, and then looking forward to the first event in Cagliari in Sardinia in April. And so that's our immediate timeline, really. And then, of course, the focus on the Cup in 21, developing our second boat, which there's some reasonably tight timelines on that as well. So really the fun doesn't stop. We've been a huge effort to get this boat on the water, and we've got to keep charging on.
So fast forward a couple of days, you're out on the water for your first sail, Jim's on board with his doctor, and what are you looking for from the boat? What's Nick looking for? What are you looking for in terms of things to work on moving forward?
It's really, as I said, the dynamics of the boat, that's the hardest part to simulate, really. So the quicker we can understand the dynamics of this 75-foot foiling monohull, we can then implement that into our design strategy for the next boat and through to the Cup. And it's not just the hull, of course, it's the foils and the rig, the sails, that we've got to work out pretty quickly the best way to operate this boat. So yeah, it's very exciting.
Jim, this is just one of many INEOS sporting challenges that you have in the sporting calendar at the moment. We've got cycling, we've got obviously sailing, we've got football, we've got the sub-2, so much going on. You love a challenge, don't you? You love a sporting challenge.
Yeah, we have got ourselves involved in quite a few serious challenges, I have to say, actually. We've got one tick in the box, of course. We've got the Tour de France. That went quite well. And actually, that was quite nail-biting right up until the end, right, the last 3 or 4 days, which I suspect this might follow a similar course, really, so to speak. But I think, they're all extraordinary challenges, and, winning the Champions League, breaking 2 hours, winning the America's Cup. But, these other sports, 3 sports got swept around 171 years ago. This has been the longest sort of sporting challenge on the planet, really. So, and this is an immense challenge, I think.
It's all about pushing the boundaries, isn't it? That's what we're here to do.
Yeah.
We're not far away from our naming ceremony now, so I suppose it's the right time to ask you to unveil the name of the boat, and I suppose your reasons why you called her what you've called her.
Right, so I think you'll recognise the name. It's quite traditional, it's historic, it's got quite a lot of maritime provenance, I think. So the name of the boat will be Britannia. We'll have Britannia 1 and Britannia 2. I think it's a name that you can sail with pride under the name Britannia. I think it says quite a lot.
Okay, well, a century ago, Britannia was said to perform best in a strong blow and a lively sea, and it was what people referred to in those days as Britannia weather. So let's hope for plenty of that when we do, in fact, get to New Zealand next winter. But first, we're going to give you a brief history lesson in our yachting past and bring you up to the present day, and in fact, today's Britannia.
Yes, His Majesty's yacht Britannia, on which the King himself takes command.
Before a yacht goes racing, she needs a name. This is Britannia. The British challenger to the America's Cup. It all started in 1740 with this, the immortal words of poet James Thomson. When Britain first at heaven's command arose from out the azure main, this was the charter of the land. The guardian angels sang this strain: Rule, Britannia, rule the waves. Britons never will be slaves. In 1893, some 150 years later, Britannia was built for King Edward, then the Prince of Wales, with a name inspired by James Thomson's poem. The racing cutter went on to enjoy huge success with an enviable lifetime record, 231 race wins, with 129 further podiums.
Britannia has gone into the lead once more, very closely followed by schooner Westwood.
She was raced in her final years by King George V. His dying wish was for Britannia to follow him to the grave. Britannia was stripped of her spars and fittings and towed out to St Catherine's Deep off the Isle of Wight, where she was scuttled by the Royal Navy. The same waters in which the first America's Cup was raced. Now is the time for INEOS Team UK to resurrect her in the form of a new AC75 Britannia, a racing yacht inspired by Britain's past, designed for the future, built and sailed with all eyes on one prize: to win the America's Cup.
Okay, so before we head downstairs, you can if you like.